God of War Ragnarok was one of the most anticipated games of 2022. It was new, improved, and in my opinion, its gameplay was far greater than its predecessor, God of War 2018. Ragnarok built on everything that was great from 2018 and then some. New weapons, new abilities, new mechanics, areas, realms, the list goes on. With so much to offer, God of War Ragnarok was definitely heading to the Game Awards, already knowing that they would claim greatness. So what stops such a great game from being in the #1 spot? Elden Ring was no doubt the most anticipated game of 2022. Just like Ragnarok, it built upon everything that was good from its predecessors. It's open, it's closed, it's fast, it's slow, and it is overall just a piece of art. To this day, people are still playing the game, and why shouldn't they be? With things like challenge runs, New Game Plus, and the DLC, Elden Ring doesn't give any reasons to stop playing. Taking just under 60 hours to alone beat the main storyline and over 130 hours to 100% the game, in terms of playtime, Elden Ring just has more to offer. Countless enemies, countless bosses, tons of different areas and weapons. Elden Ring continues to feed its players with content. But now it's time to pinpoint the differences between the two monoliths and find out why Elden Ring claimed the title of Game of the Year. Before we begin, allow me to paint you the full picture. In the beginning was a celestial being known as the Outer Will, who created the Elden Ring and transformed the greatest tree in all the lands into the Erd Tree. The Erd Tree commanded the two fingerses, which, yes, there's multiple two fingers, which is why you bind them around the different towers in all the lands between. The two fingers, which in turn cast Marika as an Empyrean. Marika then rose to power and tore the Rune of Death from the Elden Ring, which she then granted to her faithful servant, Malekith. Lunar Princess Ranni, one of the children of Rennala of Raya Lucaria and Radagon of the Golden Order, then stole a fragment of the Rune of Death. Ranni later used this fragment to kill Godwyn the Golden, which led to the Shattering. Obviously there is a lot that I didn't go over, from Godfrey leading Marika's campaign, Radagon marrying Rennala, Radagon and Marika being the same person, and more. This was an extremely rough overview of the storyline, so if you want a much more thorough explanation, then I've linked a video down below, which is where I got all my info for this part of the video. But now let's look towards Ragnarok, which actually begins 4 years before Ragnarok in God of War 2018, with Kratos, Atreus, and Kratos' wife, Faye. Faye, albeit dangling from Kratos' waist for the entire game. Faye tasks Kratos and Atreus with scattering her ashes on the highest peak in all the realms, which leads them to meeting demigods like Magni and Modi, gods like Freya, and Baldur, the son of Freya. The latter of which being the main antagonist throughout the game, who after killing results in Fimbulwinter, which brings us back to Ragnarok. 4 years later, Kratos and Atreus are simply surviving, with no other goal. But what Kratos doesn't realize is that Atreus has been searching for Tyr, the Norse god of war, which leads to Kratos fighting Thor, Odin, Heimdall, and many other battles with many other foes. But ultimately, it requires the death of a good friend of Kratos and Atreus to bring forth Ragnarok, and pit all the realms against Asgard. Once again, this is a very rough overview of the actual storyline, so I'll leave a video better explaining the story in the description. So who wins? When it comes to storylines, in my opinion, it's Elden Ring. I think God of War 2018 had a very good story, but Ragnarok's was a little bit more lackluster. And with the addition of Shadow of the Erd Tree, Elden Ring definitely takes the win on this one. But there's more to these games than just the lore. Ragnarok and Elden Ring are both fighting games, so what's the difference between the two styles? In my opinion, Elden Ring is extremely dodge dependent. Yes, there is parrying, but the game barely uses it or even states it. Ragnarok, on the other hand, has dodging, parrying, interrupting, stun grabbing, sigil arrows, and blue ring attacks, which require a specific shield attack to overcome. Yes, I am glazing Ragnarok a bit, but in my opinion, Ragnarok has more to offer than the Soulsborne fight and flee tactic. So now it's 1-to-1 between combat and story. So what did Elden Ring have that Ragnarok didn't? In fact, Ragnarok had a much better overall performance at the Game Awards, with 3 more nominations and 2 more wins than Elden Ring. Ragnarok was looking to be the perfect candidate for the #1 spot. So, what happened? February 25th and November 9th. Elden Ring had just over 8 more months for players to keep discovering things about it, in which they did. I feel like if God of War Ragnarok had released around the same time Elden Ring did, then its chances of winning would have been incredibly high. But Elden Ring hooked its players for the year. They were too busy playing the absolute marvel of a game to play the other one, in which everyone's votes were allocated towards Elden Ring. In my opinion, it should have been God of War Ragnarok. But in the making of this video, I have fallen back in love with both games, and I'm probably going to give Elden Ring a re-download. Stay safe, thanks for watching, and God bless you all.